Welcome back, everyone. Nearly a year after the attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, we still have not arrested the terrorists who have murdered 4 U.S. officials. And while much of what happened that night remains a mystery, a new book aims to change that. Fred Burton is a former State Department counterterrorism deputy chief, and Sam Katz is here. They an international terror expert. Together, they are the author of this book, Under Fire, The Untold Story of the Attack in Benghazi. All right, from what you could tell, Fred, what happened that night?
This was a story of tremendous courage and heroism of 5 relatively young special agents that did the best they could, and that was what Sam and I was trying to do, to tell a story of heroism and courage that unfolded that night. How
they held off dozens upon dozens of would-be terrorists and attackers. Did you find out, Fred, that this was a well-coordinated attack?
The story of Benghazi is the story of the diplomatic security service and the role of these young men and women in harm spots around the world and in dealing with threats on a day-to-day basis. And the story of that night isn't the hubris that occurred later in Washington over the talking points. It's about a very intrepid group of men and women, special agents, who dedicate themselves to serving at at locations around the world where terrorists,
Well, that doesn't surprise me. But what surprised me is that people don't run up to this and tell us what happened, even without pointing fingers. Why don't they at least give those people the respect that they deserve by telling people that you found out that they knew it was a terror attack right away?
Well, the agents certainly did. As soon as the first round was fired.
Did they know in Washington?
Absolutely. That information was conveyed back from the Tactical Operations Center in Benghazi to the U.S. Embassy in Tripoli and conveyed back to the State Department.
Does it bother you that we weren't told that?
I think I think being surprised that politicians would spin something for their own benefit is no surprise. I think the reality of the world in which we live in, I mean, in the book we cover stories of security agents who are in Africa, who outside the embassy, they're witnessing warlords cannibalize their victims. This is a story that doesn't get back to this country. All the political debate that happened after the fact is wasted, because the effort should be beforehand to see what you can do to provide the State Department and the Diplomatic Security Service agents with the tools and resources they need to prevent Benghazi.
So you said that if you had to get to the bottom of this, you wouldn't have called almost any of the witnesses that we saw Darrell Issa call with the Oversight Committee. Who would you like to hear from that we haven't heard from?
Brian, I investigated the last U.S. ambassador killed in the line of duty in 1988 as a young special agent, and that was Ambassador Arnie Rafel. He died aboard PAC-1. I know in doing these kinds of investigations that the higher up you go, the less those individuals know about any day-to-day events.
Okay.
So I would have called the CIA personnel that were on the ground in Benghazi to find out exactly what they were doing. I would have asked to interview at least the special agents from...
You want Patrick Kennedy, too?
I think Patrick Kennedy should be interviewed. I think Patrick Kennedy's all over this case.
All right, and it's all count here as we unbelievably, it's up to a year. We're almost at a year since the attack, and we still don't know a lot. But your book goes a long way to answering some of those questions. Congratulations on the book, Fred Burton and Sam Katz. It's called The Untold Story of the Attack in Benghazi. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.